I want to show you how to play River Flows In You by Yiruma. This is a simplified bass version. I've made the bass a little simpler, which makes the piece accessible. Everything is original. Everything is just like the original piece. The right hand is exactly the same. The only thing different is the bass is a little simpler, makes it easier to play. I've got my piano on a piano string setting to make it sound a little better for the video. Let's start with the bass. The whole piece is built off of 4 chords: an F sharp minor, a D chord, D major, A, and an E, D major, A major, E major, and then it goes back to F sharp minor all the way through in the piece. It's based on those 4 chords. Now the way I'm going to play it is I'm going to keep it simple and keep the same notes all the way through. So we're going to go open 5th, F sharp, C sharp, F sharp, D, A, D, A, E, A, and usually the E will come up, E, B, E. Now occasionally the E will play down here, just the way, if he's got it down there on the original version, I'll play it down there, and occasionally the F sharp will play down here. But mostly we'll start with this F sharp. Now the piece starts off just like this. And now I'll show you how I'm going to do this. I'll play a little bit, then I'll show you hands separately. A, G sharp, A, G sharp, A, E, A, D. A, C sharp, A, G sharp, A, G sharp, A, E, A, D. And of course the left hand is F sharp, C sharp, F sharp, D, A, D, both times. Now one more time slowly. Going on. Now what that is A, C sharp, A, G sharp, A, G sharp, A, E, A, D, A. Now here's a grace note with the B. B, C sharp, you just go bra, B, C sharp, D. A and E play together as a chord there. A, C sharp, and then the G sharp and the B play together. And you've got your D, A, D, A, E, A, E, B, E. So now together slowly. And we'll go on. Now that part, hands separately. A, G sharp, A, E, A, B, C sharp, D, E, D, C sharp, B. And of course the left hand is still doing the same thing. So now I'll go slowly with it. F sharp, D, A, and we'll go on. It goes up right there. Back down. And then it starts that melody right there. Hands separate now. We've got A, C sharp as grace notes up to the high A. A, G sharp, A, E, A, D, A, B, grace note on the B, to C sharp, D, E, up to C sharp, B, E, and then you got a little double grace note B, C sharp, Play the E and the A together. Then come down to the A, B, C sharp. So you got A, B, C sharp, down to E, A, C sharp, D, E, back down to E, C sharp, D, C sharp, D. Then you're going to start this, and that's where we stopped. So now with the left hand, you've still got those same bass progression, slowly. Let's go on. Let's stop right there and we'll get the sequence, because this thing comes back all the way through the piece. A, B, A, G sharp, A, down to A, E, A, B, A, G sharp. Now the way I finger it, you're going to have to work out your own fingering, but I like to play this with the fourth finger there, because then I can stretch from there down to the A. If you have to use your little finger for the octave, then it's going to be tough, because you got to switch fingers on that A. But it depends on the size of your hand. A, B, A, G sharp, A, E, A, B, A, G sharp, A, down to A, E, A, B, A, G sharp. Then you're going to have to switch under and come in with a thumb. A, B, C sharp, D, E, C sharp, B, A, G sharp, B. And we still have that same progression going on. So now let's start it. You're ending on an E. Going on. And here it varies. So it plays that twice and then it varies. There it goes. A, B, A, G sharp. And then it does a little da, da, da. So. So let's take it through that last section slowly and right to the end, right to the conclusion of that first section of the piece. Twice like that, and then it varies with it. Right there's where you're going to change it. There's a hold right there. Now what happens there the last time through, just plays that straight. Then you go down here to the E, down to, and you're going to go E, B, up to G sharp. And here you're going to go G sharp, B, G sharp, E. Then we go back to something that we've already done. We've already done this early in the piece, so I'll just play it slowly. Now here it changes, because it goes, instead of holding that C sharp, we go to. So what we're doing there is C sharp, E, A, B, C sharp, E, C sharp, D, E, E, C sharp, D, E, E, D, C sharp, B, E, D, C sharp, B, and it picks up. The pickup back to this part, and you have a grace note, a C sharp grace note. And there's a grace note that we had earlier. And here we're going to go up again. Then a double grace note. So we got. Got an E and an A together. Then we go back to this thing. And we're going to go back to that thing with the. And that leads us into, instead of going on, it just goes B, E, G sharp, B, and then we're into a repetitive. We're setting up for that. Now this time we're going to go. So we're going to get this da 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 all the way through there. I'm going to do a right hand only through this section. There's a grace note right there. We're into the next section. Now I'll play that slowly with the hands together. Actually, right there, I should go down with that E so that my E's don't come together. And then we're into the next section. We're ready for the next section, which is nearly what we had at the beginning of the piece. Chord. When you roll the chord, I'm only going to play the F sharp, C sharp. I'm not going to go on up to that F sharp. And that hand separately, you've got through that section. Roll that chord, C sharp, E, A. Roll that chord. Then E, A, B, C sharp, E, A, C sharp, D, E, E, C sharp, D, C sharp, B. And your left hand is just playing the D, A, D, A, E, A. And then you hold that B while you play the E, B, E. And then we're ready for the conclusion of the piece. Now, just the same way this piece started up and wound up, it's going to wind down the same way. So you've got this, you got that A, C sharp pickup. Now instead of coming down, they roll that, he rolls that chord again. C sharp, E, A, only it's up an octave from what we just did. It's right there. So we're going to go. And then you're going to go on to grace note, B, C sharp, and go up right there. So you go B, C sharp, D, E, C sharp, and then E and B together. So right after you've got this, then you drop down, and you play the E and the A together, and your hand is going to cross over, just F sharp, C sharp, F sharp. It's going to gradually slow down as you get to the end of that. Now I'm going to play it again, and this time I'll put the slow down as we get to it. I slowed it down a little more drastically than you want to probably slow down in performance. But there you have all the notes for River Flows In You. So if you want the letter notes for that, you can go to LetterNotePlayer.com. You can download them, have them right there in front of you. It really does make it a little easier to play. I've got arrows when the notes go up. I've got smaller notes to show the difference in the tempo. I've got the grace notes listed in there. So LetterNotePlayer.com. This has all the notes of the original version. The only thing difference is that the bass is simplified to make it so that you don't get confused as that bass changes. Instead of going back down sometimes, like if you've got, you just hold that F sharp at the top and the D at the top. So the bass is a little easier. LetterNotePlayer.com, and if there's another piece that you'd like to get the notes for, drop us a line and we'll try to get them up as quickly as we can.